So John, take us back to the beginning of what was the start of Palmetto Plating. I know this goes back to the 1950s, I understand, correct?
That's correct. Yes, when I was a junior in high school, I worked for a metal machining and fabrication company, and we did work at a local textile machinery manufacturer. We did work in their plating room, and became familiar with some of the people there who were influential. One of them being Homer Massey, who ran it, and the other was Don Roy, who you probably know started Roy
Yeah.
Metal Finishing.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that.
you
Yeah,
know,
good connection there.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Roy
Yeah.
Don was a crusty old New Englander, but I always considered him a good friend. But while there, I became interested in chemistry, and later when I was in the 11th grade, I had a good chemistry teacher who was also our football coach, and later the mayor of our small city, and he encouraged me and to go into chemical engineering. Uh,
Mm,
so for one of my high school chemistry projects, I did an electropolishing of copper and
mm.
won state first prize in the state contest for the
Is
science.
that,
And
wow.
then followed that up, I started plating baby shoes. And this
As a
was,
side business, right? Is that right? Is that
yes, I was 18 years old when I did, 17 years old. And
wow?
following that, I went to University of Georgia for 1 year in a
Hmm.
program with Georgia Tech. And they dropped the program after that. That was
Oh,
about the fifth year, and they decided to drop it. So I transferred to Clemson and went two semesters. The second semester I didn't finish. I dropped out and incorporated Palmetto Plating Company in 1964.
wow. Okay. Wow. That's a, yeah. So it seemed like you had a real love and interest in the sciences. But what got you into the electroplating? What made you really think that this was such an interesting career that you wanted to pursue it in college and
Well,
in business?
it involved inorganic chemistry, which was my preferred. I didn't care to go to work in an oil field or for Exxon or Gulf
Mm,
Oil. Uh, and I enjoyed the results. It was just fascinating work.
mm,
Uh, so
gotcha.
so we
Yeah.
at that time in the South where we lived in the northwestern part of South Carolina, the textile industry was the predominant industry, and you
Hmm.
basically worked in a textile plant or you sold equipment to them or you furnished machining and that sort of thing. So our initial work was copper plating of drop wires, which were used on looms. And
Mm.
we did that for
Ah,
about
okay.
a little bit over 2 years, 3 years. And then uh, after I dropped out of Clemson, my name went to the top of the draft list. And so I had to go spend a little bit of time with Uncle Sam. Did that right after I was married, and went to Fort Campbell, then Fort Sill, and finally Fort Bliss,
Mm,
and came back, and I'd had my first child at that point, and really decided that plating drop wires wasn't for us. We would be better off getting into general metal finishing. So we started
right.
hard chrome plating, and here again, our customers were predominantly textile machinery.
Mm, gotcha. Yeah. So, and when you started, what year did you say? 64? Was that right? What you said?
Incorporated in 1964.
Yeah.
I was
Did you have
20
any
years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you have any partners? How did you get all that going for yourself?
I had one partner who was my high school chemistry coach and football coach, and I
Mm.
bought him out after 3 months. So I've been on my own ever since. Probably looking back at times, it was a big mistake, but that's been life. I've enjoyed it. Still
Right.
come into work every day. I was
I was
too
gonna
young
say.
to buy. And when I became the owner, I was too young to buy a beer or to vote in South Carolina. I was 20 years old.
But you were a business owner, right? Yeah. That's
Yes.
interesting. That's interesting. So how was it back then? I mean, did obviously you had the knowledge and expertise in the processes. I don't know whether the business acumen had sunk in yet, but how was it for you back in those early days with that?
Well, at that time, to sell metal finishing to the textile industry, you basically had to travel a lot
Mm,
the, to the various plants, and they had a system of purchasing management. And everything went through the purchasing management. So we had a salesman. I had a salesman who handled that portion, and we've always worked with a salesperson, a dedicated salesperson, not manufacturers or reps, and still do to this day. I think it's very important that our customers have somebody that they can call directly and who can interface to keep the customer away from me and keep me
right.
from making a mistake.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And like I said, you were, like I said, running a finishing operation, plating operation, the 60s and 70s, where like I said, the regulations is, I don't think were as deep as they were today, are they? Or how was it back then with that?
They did not exist at that time.
Mm,
There was no Environmental Protection Agency that came in under
right.
Nixon's administration, if I'm not mistaken. So prior to that, you answered to the local POTW.
Mm, gotcha. Yeah. And yeah. What were some things that pretty much took you all to the next level back in the 70s and the 80s and things like that? Was there any type of industries that you got into a lot or? Uh,
Well, about that time, more and more industry started moving into South Carolina.
mm,
Probably the one issue that helped more than anything was when Michelin made this their North American headquarters, and
mm,
following Michelin, the BMW plant was established and
right.
still exists. Both industry exist today, and there was a lot of supporting industry that came in with those two. So
Mm, gotcha.
South Carolina's been very aggressive, soliciting industries which choose to move from the north and now internationally. So
Right.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
we branched out for a while into zinc plating. Wasn't my thing. We we now specialize more in hard chrome anodizing and finishing of stainless steel.
Gotcha. Gotcha with that. Let's talk about a little bit about, like you said, you kind of started this, you were kind of on your own there, but what type of mentors did you have? People that you had met in the industry that maybe helped you along that could, take a call when you had a question? Any people that you come to mind with that you'd want to talk about?
Well, Ben Dill was always a big source. Ben was with Jackson Lee and later with the 3M,
Hmm.
he was always on call, helped us immensely. A lot of the vendors that we had that called on supplied metal finishing products were very instrumental. We gained a lot of information from them and still
Hmm.
do and value our relationship. We don't change vendors without a big reason,
Right.
and we pride ourselves on our loyalty to them, and we learn a lot from our vendors. Also,
Right.
the association with the National Association of Surface Finishers has been important. And before that, the American Electropolishing Society was
Hmm.
very important and instrumental. I mentioned Don Roy. Uh,
Hmm.
we were somewhat competitors. I could call on him at any time, and he was always very helpful. Lou Walker, that started
Oh
Roll
yeah.
Technology, was a
Yeah.
big influence on my life, and uh,
Right.
I've been lucky that people have let me bend their ear, and we tried to take the best of our ability their advice.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I know that you and later in your career you've kind of paid it back a little bit. I know you have done some stuff with the local school district and their science programs. Tell us about that. How you got involved in them. I know I think you had started a scholarship program at one
Well,
time there.
we pride ourselves on having interns that we try to get from the local schools, usually from the high school. we ask to see if there's anybody who is an incoming junior who has an interest in chemistry, and we offer them employment in this
Hmm.
at their the hours to be decided by themselves. They work in the lab, and several of them have gone. We've had probably over the years we've probably had 30 or 40 interns. Right now we have two. Uh, both of who one of them is graduating high school, the other one is graduated and will be attending college.
Mm.
Our quality, our excuse me, our manager of the laboratory was an intern, and he went to a local college and got his degree in chemistry and came back and now
Wow.
manages our laboratory. So
Wow.
we're
Yeah.
proud of that association. We also offer a scholarship to the best science student in the local in two of the local high schools as well as the junior high. Been doing that
Mm.
for about 30 years and
Right.
really enjoy meeting those students and keeping track of where they their career as they progressed through college and on into the industry.
Yeah, that's phenomenal what you do there. Like you said, and obviously, it's a lot of time and energy, and sometimes a lot of money to do that. But like you said, you made it a goal and made it a part of your company to do that, to really give back to people in your community right there and Easley and in the surrounding area. That's great for that, and it seems like it's very important to you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say you say you still come in every day and do some things. I know you've got Hunter and Stacy running it now. How long have they been kind of there running everything for you then?
Well, Hunter's been working here since he was in high school, and
Mm,
he's 50 some years old now. Stacy has been with us for about 15, 20 years. She's now a part owner.
mm.
And I've stepped away. Hunter is now president and has a lot of good ideas. I tell you, it's not easy, Tim, uh, being a father and having your son working with you. You want to keep thinking that they're still kids, but it's taken me a long time to realize that I need to step away. I come in every morning at 7:30 and I leave at 5. Uh,
Mm.
so
Wow.
it gives me something to do.
That's
And
a great resource for him as well, and Stacy as well, to kind of have you one door down. It seems like that, if,
yeah,
in case something comes up, right? I mean,
well, originally, when I started the company, we didn't have a computer. We didn't enter work orders as work came in. We did the work, shipped it. So in a lot of cases, I was the one on the line running the product, and in most every case, I typed the. We didn't have a computer. You had to use a typewriter. We typed the bill of lading, the packing list, and the invoice, and then
mhm.
hopefully got the check and put it in the bank and clean the restrooms on the weekend, whatever else needed to do. And I'll tell you a little short story.
Sure.
Years ago, probably maybe 40 years ago, I had a man that had retired. He was a truck driver for a textile company, drove a tractor trailer, and he retired. And his brother worked for me as a polisher and buffer, and his name was Calvin Bowens. And Calvin wanted to work with us, so he came and he would work part time. I had a boat on the local lake at the time. I was having some work done on it. It was about a 35 foot boat, and it was on the back of a trailer. So I asked him, I said, Calvin, would you go down and help me put this boat in the water this weekend? So he was very accommodating, and he was driving the truck, and I was out behind the truck, and I was giving all kind of hand signals and barking directions, and suddenly it occurred to me that he wasn't paying a bit of attention to me. And then I realized that this man had backed trucks more than I'd ever driven forward in my life at that point in time. So I just closed my mouth and watched him look.
Mm.
And I thought after that, really, me giving him instruction was useless. All I needed to do is say, "That's my boat. I want it in that water," and stand back. And I've looked back over the years, and really that's the way I try to run our business now, is to stand back and give people direction if they need it, resources if they need it. And I consider it to be a successful week if nobody asks me a question.
Yeah, that's got to be that's a good mark of it. Yeah, but like you said, it's hard to let go on things after so
Oh,
many years. I
very.
mean, this has been your baby from for many years, but it seems like you said, Hunter is doing a good job, and Stacy, you got some very smart people there. You can't beat smart people sometimes, right? I
Yeah,
mean, smart
they,
you got to have that. Yeah. When you
they
look
know
back, go
we
ahead.
want to have, and they follow that. And uh, as I said, it's a successful week if nobody asks me anything.
There you go. I mean, when you look back on all of this, like I said, I'm sure there were ups and downs and everything, but it sounds like you wouldn't change a thing. You've been very successful, and more importantly, you've been a very good person about it. I mean, a good, good smart businessman and a loyal person to your community and your employees, and that's a rarity these days. It seems like.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Well, I was saying is that you've looking back on your career. I mean, you've been able to do it, been successful at it, had a lot of great customers, uh, and then, but also, like I said, be a good gentleman about it, and be a good friend and with somebody. That's got to be something that you're very proud of as well, right?
I'm very proud of that, and proud of what our people do, and proud of the quality of the product that they ship. There've been
Right,
a tremendous amount of changes in not just the
right.
metal finishing industry, but in the industry in general. What with the implementation of various management concepts such as ISO and
Mm,
quality concepts. We're not NADCAP. We are ISO 9000 and AS 9001
mm,
and the environmental ISO. And we take these very seriously. They're very good guidelines, and we've tried to learn a lot from them, and we have, and we've made changes. It's sometimes very difficult for me to accept changes, but the change gonna come whether I like it or not.
right. That's true. That's true. I always like to ask. I mean, there's a lot of younger people getting in this industry, in their 30s and 40s, or even sometimes in their 20s, that want to move up the chain. They want to move up and become a supervisor, then a manager, and then maybe, like you said, like you've helped with Stacy, there being a part owner, all those things. What advice would you give people who are getting in this industry specifically, to help them, enjoy it first of all, and also to move up the ladder, and to have some accomplishments? What advice would you give anybody younger with that, who's just getting into it?
Well, I think number one, you have to have an interest in working with your hands and working with
Hmm.
people. And it's not an easy industry to define or explain to people who are not familiar with it. Uh, I really like to try to see if we can employ or offer employment to past service members. That's been a very
Hmm.
good tack for us. We're proud that we've got several now. We've got all the people that we have are local for the most part. We
Hmm.
have hired one gentleman from Connecticut who wanted to move south, and he had quite a bit of hard chrome plating experience, and he's been working out very good. Um, I would encourage anybody who's going into it that you become very active in the National Association of Surface Finishers, both on the national, but more importantly on the regional uh,
Hmm.
side of things. There's a lot to learn there. A lot of people with great wisdom and experience, and it's that would be my suggestion. But you have
Yeah.
to have a desire to have hands on. It's not a lot of paperwork and
Right.
creativity, but it's a business that is going to be here for a while.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, it's an industry that really rewards you if you work hard at it and you're smart and you're a good person about it. It seems to reward you with that. And like I said, it's what. So if you're there all day, do you not have any hobbies that you can work on? Any fishing or anything like that down in the South
Well,
Carolina
I
area?
do lake, but I'm not much of a fisherman. Maybe I'll take time off when I get old and learn how to fish. I'm
That's right.
not a golfer. I enjoy gardening and I've traveled quite a bit in my life. Uh,
Yeah.
still enjoy traveling.
Well, like I said, you still got a place together, and I'm sure they appreciate it. And John, I want to thank you, like I said, for joining us today. You've been a very good friend to me and very helpful every time I've needed help, and I very much appreciate it. And I thank you for sharing this time and sharing this knowledge with us.
Thank you very much, Tim. Good seeing you again.